Hello everyone, it's Enigma here. This was a topic I've always wanted to do for a video. I've always kind of wanted to talk about this topic in a video, and I honestly should have made this video a long time ago. Way after, like not long after they got announced for Smash. I really should have made a video like this, and you guys know how talkative I am about this topic, so this might be a longer video, but I kind of want to talk about a topic that I've always kind of wanted to talk about, and that is the importance of Banjo and Kazooie in Smash. Because a lot of people don't really understand why these two are important to Smash, and it wasn't really... A lot of people nowadays don't really understand it. You know, a lot of people just see them as, like, nostalgia mascots, like, irrelevant characters. You only like them for nostalgia from the Nintendo 64 and nothing else. And they don't really understand how important Banjo Kazooie really was to Nintendo. Because they really were shaping up to be some of Nintendo's mascots. And it never really happened. So, I kind of want to just take a retrospective on just the importance of Banjo Kazooie in Smash. And hopefully I can, address, why, he's an important inclusion in Smash. And the big deal Banjo and Kazooie really was because it was a big deal for a lot of people, including myself. Because I really wanted to see them included. So, yeah, let's go right in and talk about the importance of these two. So, we're going all the way back to the 90s, and this was when the Nintendo 64 came out, and we're going back to when the Nintendo 64 launched, and the N64 launched in 1996 with Super Mario 64, and it was a game that blew people away. It was the first 3D platforming game, and it was definitely a video game like we've never really seen before, and, it was so weird, like, going through these worlds, and just seeing all these environments for the first time was just breathtaking, because a lot of people would never have expected video games to look that nicely. Obviously, video games look way nicer now, but back in the day, Super Mario 64 was just groundbreaking. It was such a legendary title. But there's some things that, needed some improvements, and I don't think it was the most perfect game back then. There was definitely some improvements that could have been made for Mario 64. That's where Banjo Kazooie comes in. Now, Banjo Kazooie was developed by Rare. And I'm going to just briefly explain the importance of Rare, because Rare was really important to Nintendo back in the day. A lot of the franchises that you see now from Nintendo would not have been how they are today if it wasn't for Rare. Like, look at Donkey Kong Country. Like, if Rare never stepped in to design Donkey Kong the way he is now, Donkey Kong would be looking like he was back in the arcade days, which honestly is a pretty outdated design. But then you look at, Rare's Donkey Kong that they made for Donkey Kong Country, and then you realize that, this is the new Donkey Kong, and obviously Rare changed Donkey Kong for the better, and, Donkey Kong Country has went down in history as, definitely some of the best 2D side-scrolling games of all time, and, the Donkey Kong Country trilogy was just some of the, most groundbreaking SNES games out there. But then, but Rare decided for the new, hardware of the Nintendo 64 that they wanted to kind of make a new IP, to kind of make their own 3D platformer, kind of like Mario 64. And that's where Banjo Kazooie comes in. That was their new IP. They had Banjo appear in, Diddy Kong Racing, a year before then to kind of promote that game. But Banjo Kazooie was definitely very groundbreaking, and it fixed a lot of problems that Mario 64 had, and it was definitely the perfect 3D platformer in my eyes. 3D platformers, I feel, should take note from Banjo Kazooie. Banjo Kazooie is definitely one of those 3D platformers that every future 3D platformer needs to take notes for, because Banjo Kazooie was such a groundbreaking game, and it fixed a lot of issues that Mario 64 had, and it was honestly the perfect 3D platformer in my opinion. And it was such a good game. And Nintendo was really treating Banjo Kazooie like a major IP for them. It may not seem like it now, obviously, because Banjo Kazooie doesn't belong to Nintendo anymore, but, you know, Banjo Kazooie, if you look at a lot of promotion for Banjo-Kazooie from, like, the 90s, you could obviously tell that, you know, Nintendo was trying to push this franchise, and it was really shaping up to be one of Nintendo's flagship franchises. But it never came to be. Obviously, we got Banjo-Kazooie, and then we got a sequel, Banjo-Tooie, which released in 2000 for the Nintendo 64, but it never happened. Why? Because that's when everything fell flat. So Rare was going through struggles as a company, and they were looking to be bought out by a company. Activision was interested, but obviously, as you all know right now, Rare got bought out by Microsoft. And this was a huge deal because, you know, this was, Rare got bought out by Microsoft the year after the the original Xbox came out, which was in 2001. Rare got bought out by Microsoft in 2002. And it was definitely huge news because, as I was about to say, the Xbox was becoming a competitor to Nintendo and even PlayStation, and, you know, seeing Banjo-Kazooie on a Nintendo system again was basically no more. And, you know, it kind of hurt a lot of people. Like, it was so sad to hear that, you know, this franchise that Nintendo was clearly trying to push so hard got bought out by a competitor because, you know, the company, the developer for the franchise was going through, like, some difficulty in, you know, the business and stuff like that. And I honestly do think Microsoft saved Rare, because if Rare never got bought out, I do think Rare probably wouldn't even have been existent anymore. I feel like people give too much crap for Microsoft for buying out Rare, but really I think Microsoft saved Rare, in my opinion. But just the fact that Banjo-Kazooie left Nintendo is just something that's so sad. And it was something, and that's why I really pushed Banjo-Kazooie and Smash Brothers. Because, you know, Smash Brothers really was the only way to get these characters back on Nintendo again. You know, and it, like, no other way, there wasn't really any other way, especially if you're owned by Microsoft. Now, if you asked me back in the Brawl and Smash 4 era if I thought Banjo-Kazooie had any remote chance of getting included, I would have said hell no. Because working, like, back then, working with a competitor, especially Microsoft, sounded so outlandish back in the day. Like, you would have never expected that. Like, if anyone asked you, like, no one would have really expected Microsoft, of all companies, to kind of, you know, work with Nintendo on Smash. And I just never really thought Banjo-Kazooie had much of a shot of getting included, as much as I really wanted him. But I was always hopeful that, you know, maybe Nintendo and hopefully Microsoft heard our requests, and hopefully we're just hoping for the best, hoping that Banjo and Kazooie can finally come back to Nintendo, specifically in Smash, of course. And that's when everything changed in the Smash 4 era. So, if you guys weren't around for Smash 4, the hype around Smash 4, it was pretty huge. Because, you know, if you guys don't remember, there was a Smash ballot. People could vote for who they want, you know, and that was basically, like, that is basically our way to get our voices heard and get Nintendo to, you know, acknowledge our requests. And, you know, obviously this was the only way we could do that. And then, so obviously a lot of people are voting for Banjo-Kazooie. Well, there was a lot of votes for Banjo and Kazooie in Smash that it caught the attention of the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, which was totally shocking at the time. Like, someone asked him on Twitter if he would be down to see Banjo and Kazooie in Smash, and he said like, he would be down, and I feel like he was borderline asking for Nintendo to put Banjo and Kazooie in Smash, because, like, the way he was, like, addressing it is, like, we have no issues with Nintendo. If they want to work something out and get these characters in Smash, we will definitely work something out. And it was definitely something that, you know, none of us would have expected from, you know, Microsoft. So, that definitely raised awareness for Banjo Kazooie and made me think, okay, maybe he could be possible for a future Smash game, but I still never really thought that he was too likely. Because again, Microsoft, I never really knew, like, I never really thought that, would Microsoft really work with Nintendo? It was kind of something that I just never really expected. And, early days of Ultimate, early days of Ultimate, and I even had a video talking about this, long before we even saw E3, I was saying, quote me on this, Banjo and Kazooie is not getting in Smash. And I was pretty confident back then that he's probably not getting in Smash. And I feel so stupid. I deleted that video, so if you try to look for it, it's not up there anymore, because I've always disagreed with that after I saw the E3 showcase, because it was clear that after E3, Nintendo was clearly listening to the fan requests and fan demand for characters, because we got every single character that's ever been in Smash back. And Ridley, who is one of the most controversial characters to ever be in Smash speculation. There were so much people that were 50-50 on his chances. A lot of people said he would never get included. A lot of people said that, oh, he's too big. But Sakurai proved them wrong and included Ridley. And then, we get into August, King K. Rool gets in, and then it's very clear to me that Nintendo was clearly picking characters that were popular in the Smash ballot. So, Smash Ultimate base game goes through. Banjo Kazooie doesn't make it in, obviously. But then DLC is another story, because, DLC, it's definitely more chances of getting that character in Smash. So, I was hoping for the best. There was a lot of things cropping up for Banjo, felt like the stars were aligning, a lot of things were just leading up to that reveal, that magical reveal at E3 2019. And then, just out of nowhere, Banjo and Kazooie finally made it in Smash, and it was just so groundbreaking. And I always think of that trailer as just a Nintendo family reunion. Old characters that used to be owned by Nintendo but not anymore come back to Nintendo. And that was just so cool at the time. And that's why I wanted Banjo Kazooie. Rare was so important to Nintendo. Banjo Kazooie was definitely a flagship franchise. It was starting to become a mainstay for Nintendo. Bought out by a competitor, and then we haven't really seen anything since, and now Banjo-Kazooie is in Smash, and that's kind of why I've wanted him for a long time. That's why many people wanted it for a long time. That's why, Banjo-Kazooie is such a popular character, because Banjo-Kazooie just isn't just a platforming game that most nostalgia people don't really care about anymore. It's definitely an iconic game, and it went down in history as definitely one of the biggest games for the Nintendo 64 of all time, whether you want to believe it or not. And I think that Banjo-Kazooie's inclusion in Smash was very, very, very important. And that's basically what I wanted to talk about for this video. Now, but yeah, that basically is it. So, if there's a character on the roster that you feel was important to the roster, explain why you think they're important to the roster. I would love to hear that. And, why do you think Banjo and Kazooie were important for being in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Also, let me know that in the comments down below. Anyways, this has been Enigma, and peace. See you next time.